They tell you to leave before dark, not because of rules, but because of what happens when you don't. Some places change when the light goes. Familiar paths feel longer. Shadows stretch where they shouldn't, and the silence starts to feel aware. This isn't just one story. These are real accounts from people who stayed after dark. People who thought they had time. People who thought they were alone. Some of them made it out. Not all of them. And the ones who did, didn't come back the same. Because once something notices you, it doesn't always stay where you left it. What you're about to hear is not told to entertain you. It's told the way it was remembered. Fragments, moments, details that don't quite fit, but refuse to be forgotten. 5 different nights, 5 different people. One thing in common, they all stayed after dark. Listen carefully, because the small details are the ones that matter most. It started the same way every evening. At exactly 6 o'clock, the caretaker would walk the length of the cemetery, checking each row, each path, each corner where the trees grew too close together. He didn't rush. There was no need to. Nothing ever changed. Same graves, same silence, same routine. He would reach the gate, pull it closed, and lock it. Every night, no exceptions. And once that lock turned, no one was supposed to be inside. That's why, when his phone rang at 6:17, he didn't understand it. He was already halfway down the road when it happened. The screen lit up in his hand. No name, no number, just the call. He almost ignored it. Almost. But something about it felt wrong. So he answered. For a moment, there was nothing, just silence. Then, breathing, slow, uneven, too close to the microphone. He frowned, pulled the phone slightly away from his ear, then back again. Hello? No response. Just that breathing. Then the line went dead. He stood there for a second, looking back at the cemetery gates behind him. Locked. Still. Exactly how he left them. He shook it off, turned, started walking again. Then the phone rang again. This time, he didn't hesitate. Same thing. Breathing, but louder now, closer. And beneath it, something else. A faint sound. Irregular, like movement over loose ground. He didn't speak this time. He just listened, trying to place it, trying to understand what he was hearing. Then, a soft knock, dull, heavy, as if it came from underground. He froze, because he knew that sound. Everyone who worked there knew it. The hollow tone of earth. When something presses against it from below, the call ended again. And this time, the silence that followed felt different. He turned back toward the gate. Something pulled at him. Not curiosity. Something else. Something that made it hard to just walk away. So he went back. The gate stood exactly as he left it. Locked. No movement. No sign that anyone had touched it. He reached into his pocket, pulled out the key, and for a moment, hesitated. Then he unlocked it. The sound echoed farther than it should have, as if the space inside was larger than before. He stepped in, closed the gate behind him. Didn't lock it this time. The air felt heavier, thicker, like the place was holding its breath. He followed the main path, past the first row of graves, then the second, then deeper. Each step slower than the last. And then, his phone vibrated again. Not a call this time, a notification. One new voicemail. Timestamp. 6:17 p.m. His hand tightened slightly around the phone. Because he hadn't missed a call, he had answered both. So where did the message come from? He didn't play it. Not yet. Instead, he kept walking. Because now, he could hear it. Not through the phone. Out here. That same breathing. Somewhere ahead. He moved toward it. Carefully. Watching the ground. The rows. The spaces between stones. And that's when he saw it. One grave. Near the far end. The soil slightly raised. Not enough to notice from a distance. But up close, it was clear. Something had disturbed it. Recently, the air around it felt colder. Still, like everything else had stepped back. He stood there, staring at it, trying to convince himself it was nothing. Just loose dirt, just settling ground. Then the phone vibrated again. Same voicemail. 6:17 p.m. Still waiting. This time, he pressed play. At first, nothing. Just that low distortion. Then, breathing. The same breathing. Only now, it was layered. 2 rhythms. One slow, one uneven. And then, a voice. Strained, barely holding together. If you're hearing this, I didn't make it out. His chest tightened. Because he knew that voice, it was his. And right in front of him, the soil shifted. Just slightly, but enough. He stepped back, eyes fixed on the ground, waiting, hoping it would stop. It didn't. The dirt moved again. This time, more forcefully, as if something beneath it was pushing upward. Then, a hand, not fully visible, just enough to break the surface, fingers pressing through soil, grasping at nothing. He couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't look away. And then, the phone in his hand shifted, almost slipping, because something else had started. From inside the speaker, another voice, not his, faint, distant, but clear enough, answering. You stayed. The line went dead. The screen went black. And the ground in front of him. The next morning, the gate was still locked. Exactly at 6. Like always. Nothing out of place. No disturbed ground. No open graves. No signs of anything unusual. Except for one thing. Near the far end of the cemetery, resting on top of a grave, they found his phone. Screen cracked. Battery drained. Still recording. And when they played it back, they heard 2 voices. One trying to get out, and one answering from above. That wasn't the only time someone heard something. Answering back. We heard it before we saw anything. Footsteps. Behind us. At first, we thought it was just one of us messing around. Someone lagging behind, trying to scare the rest. So, we didn't stop. We just kept walking. But the sound stayed. Same distance. Same pace. Always just behind. That's when one of us turned. Quick. Sudden. Trying to catch whoever it was. Nothing. Just the path. Graves on both sides. Shadows stretching across the ground. No one there. We laughed it off. Told ourselves it was nothing. Just echoes. Or maybe our own steps bouncing back at us. So we kept moving. But after a while, we started to notice something else. Something that didn't make sense. There were 5 of us, walking close together, talking, joking, trying to act like everything was normal. But on the ground, there were 6 shadows. At first, it didn't register. You don't expect something like that. Your brain just ignores it. tries to fix it without telling you, until one of us pointed it out. Wait, stop. We all stopped. Every single one of us. And the footsteps behind us stopped too. No delay, no extra step, just stopped. Exactly when we did. No one spoke for a second. We just stood there, listening, waiting. Then, slowly, we all turned around. Nothing. No one. Just darkness filling the path we came from. But when we looked back down, the shadows were still there. All of them. 5 in front of us. And one more. Just slightly behind. That's when it stopped being funny. That's when we realized whatever was making that shadow wasn't one of us. We tried to ignore it. Tried to keep moving like nothing had changed. Because no one wanted to be the first to panic. Step by step, we walked. And the footsteps came back. Perfectly in sync. Matching us. Left. Right. Left. Right. Until one of us suddenly stopped again. We all froze. And just like before, the footsteps stopped too. That's when someone said it, barely above a whisper. How many are we? No one answered at first, because we already knew. But we counted anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Just 5. Then why? Did it still feel like there was one more? We didn't wait anymore. We turned and started walking faster. Not running. Not yet. Just faster. Trying not to look back. Trying not to think about it. But the footsteps behind us kept up. Perfectly. Matching every step. No hesitation. No mistake. Then something changed. The rhythm shifted. Not matching anymore. Not following. Getting closer. One step closer. Then another. We didn't need to turn to know. It wasn't staying behind us anymore. It was catching up. That's when we ran. No one said it. No one had to. We just ran. Straight toward the gate. Toward the only way out. And the footsteps. They ran too. Louder now. Closer. Almost right on top of us. We reached the gate. Pushed through it. Didn't even stop to close it. Just kept going. Didn't look back. Not once. We didn't talk about it that night. Didn't call each other. Didn't text. Nothing. The next day, one of us sent a message. Just a photo. No explanation. It was taken earlier that night. Back when we were still laughing. Still pretending everything was normal. All 5 of us were in it. Standing close together. Facing the camera. Smiling. And behind us, just at the edge of the frame, there was someone else. Standing slightly apart. Not blurred. Not hidden. Clear enough to see. They weren't looking at the camera. They were looking at us. Photos don't lie, but sometimes they show too much. He noticed it on his second round. Not at the start of the shift. Not when there was still a trace of light in the sky. But later, when everything had settled, that's when it stood out. One grave. Open. Not broken. Not damaged. Just open. The soil had been moved aside. Neatly. Too neatly. Like it hadn't been dug in a rush, but uncovered on purpose. He stopped walking. Stared at it from a distance. Trying to remember if there had been a burial recently. There hadn't. He would have known. Every name. Every plot. Every date. That was part of the job. He stepped closer. The deeper he moved into that section, the quieter everything became. No wind. No insects. Nothing. Just his footsteps. and that open space in the ground. When he reached it, he looked down. At first, it was just darkness. Flat. Still. Nothing unusual. Then he noticed the dirt. Fresh. Loose. Not settled. As if it had been disturbed. Very recently. He scanned the area. No tools. No footprints. No signs of anyone else being there. That's when he heard it. Faint. So faint he almost missed it. A sound. Coming from below. He froze. Tilted his head slightly. Listening. There it was again. A dull knock. Slow. Uneven. Like something striking against wood. From the inside. He took a step back. Every instinct telling him to leave. To report it. To get someone else. But he didn't move. Because the sound came again. Stronger this time. And beneath it, a drag. Like something shifting its weight. His breathing slowed. Not from calm, but from the effort to stay quiet. To hear it clearly. Then it stopped. Just like that. No warning. No fade. He waited. Counting seconds in his head. 1, 2, 3. Nothing. He leaned forward slightly. Just enough to look deeper into the grave. Trying to see past the darkness. Trying to convince himself there was nothing there. Then, movement. Not on the surface. Not in the dirt. Below it. Something moved. Slow. Heavy. The darkness itself seemed to shift. As if something inside it had changed position. He stepped back again. This time faster. Eyes locked on the opening. Waiting for it to stop. It didn't. The dirt along the edge trembled. Just slightly. Then again. A little stronger. And then, another sound. Closer now. Clearer. Breathing. Low. Uneven. From inside the grave. He turned. Started walking. Not running. Not yet. Just walking away. Because something told him, if he ran, it would follow. Step by step. He moved back along the path. Not looking behind him. Not listening anymore. Just putting distance between himself and that place. Then, a final sound. Sharp. Close. Right behind him. He stopped. Against his better judgment. Against everything telling him not to. And slowly, he turned. The grave was still there. Open. Exactly as before. But something had changed. The darkness inside it was no longer still. It moved. Not fully visible. Not clear. But enough to know. There was something inside. He left after that. Didn't finish his rounds. Didn't report it immediately. Just walked out. Locked the gate. And didn't look back. The next morning, they checked. The grave was gone. Not covered. Not repaired. Gone. As if it had never been opened. The ground was flat. Undisturbed. Old. Settled. They checked the records. Every plot. Every section. Every name. There was no record of any grave in that spot. No burial. No marker. Nothing. Just empty ground where something had been moving the night before. If you think these are just stories, the next one was recorded. You don't hear it at first. That's what makes it worse. Because the recording sounds normal, clear, steady, nothing out of place. He checked it himself, listened from beginning to end, more than once. And every time, the same thing happened. The first half was just him. He had gone there alone, late, after closing, not because he believed anything about the place, but because he didn't. He wanted proof, something real, something he could play back and say, "See? Nothing here." So he brought a recorder, high quality, sensitive enough to pick up the smallest sound, set it to run the entire time. He spoke into it as he walked, not nervous, not rushed, just describing what he saw. The gates closed. No movement anywhere. Wind's picking up a little. Trees are moving, that's all. Nothing strange. Nothing unusual. And that's exactly what he expected. He moved deeper in, past the first row, then the next. Then farther than most people go. Still talking. Still recording. Still calm. I'm near the back section now. Nothing out here either. He stayed for almost 20 minutes. Walking. Stopping. Listening. At one point, he even stood completely still, just to prove something. This is what it sounds like. Nothing. And he was right. At least in that moment. Because when he left, he was sure of it. There was nothing there. No voices. No footsteps. No movement. He locked the gate behind him, went home, and uploaded the recording. It wasn't until later, when he listened again, that something changed. The beginning was the same. His voice, his footsteps, the wind, exactly as he remembered. But somewhere around the middle, something new appeared. Not loud, not obvious. Just beneath his voice, there was another sound. So quiet, it almost blended into the background. At first, he thought it was interference, or maybe the wind hitting the mic at a different angle. But it didn't move like the wind. It didn't shift. It stayed right behind his voice, matching his pace, matching his pauses. So he isolated the audio, turned it up, filtered everything else out. And that's when he heard it clearly. A voice, not his, something else. It wasn't speaking over him. It was speaking under him, repeating parts of what he said, but not exactly. Almost like it was trying to follow along and getting it slightly wrong. He kept listening, going further into the recording, and the voice stayed, closer, now, clearer. Then it changed. It stopped repeating him and started speaking on its own. Too quiet to catch every word, but enough to understand the tone. It wasn't random. It was directed toward him. He reached the part where he had stopped walking, where everything had gone still, where he had said, "This is what it sounds like." Nothing. The silence followed, just like he remembered. But this time, it wasn't empty, because in that silence, the other voice became clear, closer than before, right beside the microphone, saying something he hadn't heard that night, something he hadn't said. His name, not shouted, not distorted, just spoken, clearly, like someone standing next to him, trying to get his attention. He stopped the playback, didn't move for a while, just sat there, staring at the screen. Then he played it again, from the beginning, just to be sure. And this time, he noticed something else. Something he had missed before. Earlier in the recording, before he ever introduced himself, before he ever said his name, the voice had already said it, quietly, under his first words, as if it already knew who he was, before he arrived. The final seconds of the recording are the hardest to explain, because everything changes. The sound shifts. The air feels tighter. His voice is still there, but it's different, slightly strained, like he's noticed something. And the other voice is no longer whispering. It's closer, clearer, right next to him. Then, the recording cuts. No fade, no ending, just stops. Some people hear things, others are followed. It didn't start inside the cemetery. It started when he left. The gate closed behind him. Metal against metal. A final sound. Clear. Certain. That should have been the end of it. Once you're outside, you're outside. But as he walked away, he heard it. Another set of footsteps. He slowed slightly. So did it. He stopped. And right behind him, the sound stopped too. He didn't turn around. Not immediately. Because something about it felt deliberate. Like whatever it was, didn't want to be seen. He told himself it was nothing. Someone else leaving. A coincidence. An echo. So he kept walking. But this time, he listened carefully. His steps were steady, predictable. The ones behind him matched perfectly. Left, right, left, right. Too perfect. He reached the road, stepped off the gravel, onto solid ground. His footsteps changed. Different tone. Sharper. The ones behind him changed too. Same rhythm. Same distance. That's when he turned. Nothing. No one. Empty road. Still air. But the feeling didn't go away. Because even standing still, he could feel it. Something just behind him. Not touching. Not moving. Just there. He didn't stay. He walked home. Faster now. Not running. Not yet. But faster. Every now and then, he would stop suddenly, trying to catch it, trying to force it into the open. Every time, it stopped too. Never late. Never early. Always exact. By the time he reached his house, his hands were shaking. He unlocked the door, stepped inside, and shut it quickly behind him. Then he locked it. Once. Twice. Silence. For the first time since leaving, he couldn't hear the footsteps anymore. He leaned against the door, breathing, trying to calm down, trying to convince himself it was over. Then, a step from inside the house. Not loud, not clear, but close enough. He pushed himself off the door, slowly, listening. Nothing. Just the normal sounds of the house, the kind you hear every night. He moved deeper inside, one step at a time, watching the floor, watching the corners, watching everything. The lights were on. Nothing out of place. Nothing moved. Until he passed the hallway mirror. For a second, he caught his reflection. Normal. Exactly what he expected. Then something felt wrong. He stopped, turned back, looked at it again. It was still him, still the same. But something about it didn't match. So he moved. Just slightly, a small shift of his shoulder, and the reflection moved a fraction too late. He froze, eyes locked on the glass. His breathing slowed, controlled, careful. He lifted his hand, slowly, watching. The reflection followed, but not exactly. Not perfectly. There was a delay. Small, but real. Then, the reflection moved. Before he did. Just a slight motion, barely noticeable, but enough. He stepped back, heart pounding now, no longer trying to stay calm. And the reflection didn't stop. It continued moving. slowly, separately, not matching him anymore. Then, everything went still again. Perfectly still, like nothing had happened. He didn't sleep that night, didn't turn off the lights, didn't go near that hallway again. Morning came, light filled the room, and everything looked normal. The mirror showed exactly what it should. No delay, no movement, nothing wrong. He told himself it was over, that whatever followed him was gone. But every now and then, he still feels it. Not sees it, not hears it, just feels it, standing behind him, waiting. And when he passes that mirror, he doesn't stop anymore. He doesn't look, because he already knows. I don't go back there, but I don't think it ever left. Some places don't just hold the dead. They hold what refuses to stay buried. If you ever find yourself somewhere you shouldn't be, especially after dark, listen carefully. Not everything makes itself known right away. Some things wait. They follow at a distance, matching your steps, learning your rhythm. And by the time you notice, you're no longer alone. If you want to hear more stories like this, stay with us, because some of these places, some of these voices don't stay where they belong. And next time, we go deeper. What keeps people watching isn't the story. It's the feeling that something is about to happen, and you shouldn't look away. Because the moment you do, you miss it. That small detail, that sound, that movement that wasn't there before. And once you notice it, it notices you too. So stay with it. Don't skip. Don't look away. Because what comes next might already be closer than it should be.